wouldn't take you here if I didn't think you could do it.
All right. Last one. Done. I'm done starting over. It's like the 10th time already. What's going on, everybody? It's me, Caesar. I'm back with a new episode of the 1,000 Ways to Say the Same Thing podcast. It's Monday, or you're going to hear this on Monday, April 8th. I'm recording it a little bit earlier. But I have an important question to ask you. How are you? Good? Good. I'm glad you guys are good. And if you're not good, I hope it gets better. That's all I can do from here in my little studio. But yeah, welcome back. It's a new episode since the last one. And that last one was like a month ago. I came in super hot. With the month of February. 10 episodes in 4 weeks. That was like 2.5 episodes per week. That was surely, that wasn't really attainable. I think I'm just making more excuses for myself. But those big episodes, every couple days, that was definitely fun. And I intend to do a lot more of those. But restructuring everything and getting everything under one roof once again with all this new equipment, all the new stuff that I got for this podcast, new life experiences along with it. But yeah, there's a new structure, there's a new everything, and I hope you guys are excited, just as excited as I am, because 2 episodes a week wasn't maintainable or attainable. I can't think of the word, but I'm thinking about doing 5 episodes a week now. Not as extensive, but I'm gonna do quick, anywhere between 10 to 30 minute episode, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Really just kind of going over stuff that I kind of see or observe throughout the week. Things that I hear, talk about, read, whatever. That's why you're here, to listen to what I have to say for some reason. Shut up. I'm recording. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, small, quick episodes. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, some weekend day coming out. Most likely Friday, because it's cool for a new, like a commute home or something. But Friday would be that new, hour and a half, 2 hour long episode that I have discussing like big things, or talking to other people. Excuse me. All that stuff. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. This is still season 1, but it's kind of like a remix on season 1. I definitely dropped the ball with the second month. Yeah, 10 episodes coming in hot February, followed by a whopping 1 episode in March. And that was a cool episode, talking about coming back from U25 and Nationals and Rocky and all that stuff. But I definitely could have followed it up with some other stuff. But I'm excited. So while you're sitting there and you're thinking about, wow, this dude's fucking crazy, just 5-6 episodes a week, you're nuts. I'm gonna ask you another question. A question I've been thinking myself and talking to a bunch of friends and my family about. But it's an important question, and hopefully not too heavy for a Monday morning. Hopefully it doesn't make you want to reevaluate your whole life But maybe it will, and maybe it'll inspire you to do some cool stuff. But that question, it's something that I was talking to my cousin about, and the way that it came about was I was kind of sitting there at work, as people tend to do every day, and I was kind of sitting there, kind of spacing out on the computer, and I was writing in my journal at the same time, just kind of taking notes on my life, and I wrote down 3 goals. Excuse me. I wrote down 3 goals. My fucking throat always gets so dry when I do these. It's ridiculous. Excuse me. I'm going to drink some water. I'll be back. There we go. So, I was writing down my goals in my one of several notebooks that I have. And I had tied 3 top ones, 3 big ones. And those 3 big ones were become a full-time Olympic weightlifter, become a full-time podcast producer, and quit my job at the end of 2019, the start of 2020. And those are followed by a bunch of different goals, but each one of those small goals is part of the big 3. And, you know, you could have 1 big one, 2 big ones, 3 big ones, 4, 5. You get the idea. You can have as many big goals, but you have to have, you know, small achievements that add up in full summation to one big goal. And those are my 3. Full-time Olympic weightlifter, full-time podcast producer, and to quit that job. So, thinking about it, I was sitting there thinking about, you know, that's what I wanted. And I sit and I look at my cousin who works at the same job that I do, who is just as unsatisfied with his life, and he's younger than I am, with his situation and where he's working. And I asked him, you know, what do you want to do? What do you want to do, bud? And he kind of looks at me and he kind of shrugs and he gives me the same answer. He's like, you know, I don't really know. I don't know what I want to do. I want to do a lot of things. I said, okay. I took it as an answer and it was like, fine. And then I sat and I started thinking about it. And I thought about my perfect day. Like my perfect day. What would my perfect day consist of? And I even, like, I have this written up. I have this written up and situated to the hour of what the day is and how I would do it. Essentially just waking up in the morning, waking up at like 6 a.m, going out to let my dog out. Hopefully dogs at that point read a little bit outside, you know, stretch and warm up and train, and then get dressed and shower, then eat lunch, then work on the podcast and talk and edit and do a bunch of shit, and then train again, and then eat dinner, and then watch TV and go to bed. That's what my perfect day is. So I asked him, I was like, okay, what's your perfect day? If you could wake up tomorrow, and you're living the situation. You don't have to worry about this place. You don't have to worry about anything else. Like if you woke up tomorrow in your perfect day, in your perfect situation, what would it be? And he says, you know, here's the thing. Because I explained to him what mine was. And he's like, here's the thing. He's like, what I want you can't really make money doing it. He's like, I just want to travel and drive around the country, drive around the world, or, you know, travel around the world and help people. I'm like, dude, you can do that. You can 100% do that. And you could definitely make money doing it if you did it the right way. And if you talk to people the right way. And it was just, that. And we kind of got to the conclusion, and I asked him, okay, what do you need to do? What would you need to do to get to that position? You know, and that's where it kind of took off, the idea of, well, you know, we could save money. He could save money to buy a van or a bus, and then refurnish that bus into, you know, like a van dweller type situation where people just live in their van. And dude, if you don't know some people's setups and like vans and buses and shit, oh my gosh, you need to go on Reddit right now. Go to the subreddit van dwellers. There's some people with some setups that look better than the shitty 1-bedroom apartment I lived in last year. It's insane. So he can do that, you know, save money, and then refurbish an old van or a bus, turn it into his home, and then start a podcast. Drive around, talk to people, talk to all these kind of people homeless people who are also trying to help people, anybody. Like, there's ways to do it. And I asked him, you know, he thought it was a great idea. And I asked him, so what do you need to do to get there? He's like, well, first I need to save money. I also need to start a podcast or learn how to start a podcast. And those were, at the moment, there's just two things, you know. I told him, man, like, you're young. It doesn't even matter if you're old anyway. Like, if you're older, if you're on your last leg at 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I went there. And 100, and all the 100-year-olds that are listening to my podcast. What's up? It doesn't matter. Obviously it would be easier as you're younger, less responsibilities. Granted, that's a better situation. But really, you have to, and that's the question I want to ask everybody. It's, you want to sit down and write it out. Sit down and write it out. What do you need to do? What skill do you have to learn? What things do you have to do to be the person that you want to be? You know, he wants to be the helpful vagabond and go around. Is it vagabond or vagabond? I'm pretty sure it's vagabond. He wants to be the helpful traveler, you know. It's, you know, what do you have to learn to do that? Who do you have to? There's a lot of things that you can do to get there, but what are the things that you must learn in the beginning, you know? Take me, for example, like me personally, my big three. I want to be a full-time Olympic weightlifter, full-time podcast producer, and I want to quit my job and do those two things full-time. What do I have to do those? If we start with being a full-time Olympic weightlifter, obviously that means that I would need to be sponsored by some sort of company, or make, you know, the USAW stipend, do any of that stuff. How do I get there? You know, I have to be better. I have to be better at the conventional lifts, and that's all I have to do. That's incorrect. You know, to get better at those conventional lifts, there's a lot of things that go into them. I have to be better at nutrition, be better at recovery, be better mentally on the platform, on and off. I have to do so many more things behind the scenes that lead into it. So recently I've taken the time to try to dial in my nutrition. I'm back to doing the podcast, which is helping me do the mental aspect and reading and writing and doing all that stuff to get ready and prep for these episodes, which is getting me in a much better position in life and on the platform and off the platform. I'm going and seeing my physical therapist and actually doing the recovery exercises to make sure that I'm recovering. I'm stretching in the mornings and in the evenings and making sure that I'm lubed up and ready to go for the next day. You know, when I'm training, I'm making sure that I'm going hard, but I'm not doing anything stupid. I'm doing the work that needs to be done. And those are all the things, that tie in, and then down the road, yeah, absolutely, I'm sure that those will pay off. But there's a lot more there's many more things that you have to do that tie into that one goal. And you have to ask yourself, what is it that you need to do? My other goal is be a full-time podcast producer. I can't do that if I'm not putting out content. I can't do that if I'm putting out 1 or 2 episodes every month, so I wanted to step it up and challenge myself and make sure that I'm putting out good, wholesome, enjoyable content at least once or twice or 5 or 6 times a week. Really challenging myself to do that and make sure that I invest in myself. I invest the time in myself. The third big one is quit my job. And obviously those two, the being a full-time Olympic weightlifter, being the full-time podcast producer, those go hand in hand in helping me achieve that third one. And again, all those small little intricate details that add up to one big action, those are the things that are going to help me achieve all 3 of those goals. So regardless of what it is that you want to do, whether it is to, learn how to cook, be better at art, or, be an artist, be a filmmaker, be a director, be a weightlifter, be an athlete, be who you dream of being, who you have dreamed of being your entire life, sit back and ask yourself, make a list of the things that you have to do in order to get there. I find that the more and more intricate you can get with them, the more detailed you can get with a list of all the things that you need to do, you don't leave an excuse. There's no excuses on the table to where, I didn't do this. I didn't do this while trying to be, a filmmaker, so that's why I didn't make it. No. If there's a skill that you have to learn, if there's extra time that you have to take, if there's extra effort that you have to put in, why not? Why not? I know that it's definitely a big pain in the ass to have to work all day and then come home and try to work and do some other stuff, but if it's worth it, it's worth it. If it's not, it's not. And if it's on that list, if it's on the list of these are the things that I need to do, excuse me, these are the things that I need to do to achieve my one thing, my one goal, my one dream, the way I want the way I want to live, the person that I want to be, why wouldn't you do those? Know what I'm saying? God, it's so hard to breathe right now. Oh, goodness. There's obviously a bigger way. I mean, there's a lot more that goes into. There's a lot that goes into what it is that I want, like being a fully sponsored athlete, a full-time weightlifter, podcast producer, and quitting my job. Obviously, there's a lot that go into it. And if you need to remind yourself, start a board. Go to Target, go to Walmart, get a freaking poster board and write it down. Write down all the stuff that you need and show yourself. Just write down the list. Write the list down on that board. That way you can wake up every morning and look at it and see what it is that you have to do. It's quite daunting when you think about it. It's definitely a daunting task when you think about all the little intricate details of who you need to be. So I get how it can be intimidating. I get how you can be afraid and worrisome of not being able to attack them all. But it's one thing at a time. One thing at a time. That's what balance is. Have a good balance. So, pretty heavy stuff for a Monday morning. But yeah, tomorrow we'll be back with some other stuff about cues and life, and I just hope that everyone's still listening. I did quite a shitty job at keeping up with my schedule. So thank you for everyone who's still here, and I do intend on keeping the schedule, Monday through Thursday, small episodes, and then a big episode on Friday. Tomorrow I will be better prepared. I was definitely a little bit rusty coming back to this. So I love everybody. I love you guys. Thank you for listening, and I hope that the rest of your Monday goes really great. And I don't know, if you're keeping a tally, if you're keeping a score on yourself and you're journaling and you're writing and you're doing those cool things, like you just keeping tabs on yourself. Write it down and ask yourself, make a list on what are the things that you have to be doing to be the person that you want to be. Write down those 3 big goals, those 3 big things. I don't care how many goals you write. 1, 2, or 3, 5, 9. However driven you are in your life to do many different things, that all the power to you. But write down however many, and then under that, you got to write down all the things that you need to do, learn, be, all those things, because those are all just as important. All right, everybody. I will talk to you tomorrow on Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed this first podcast in a while. You can definitely tell I'm a little rusty, but I love you all, and you guys have a great day. And if you have any questions or concerns, if you want to reach out to me directly, I changed my Instagram name. I changed it because I was mentioned on somebody else's podcast, and my weightlift my Instagram handle was really confusing. It was C with 3 underscores Flores, and that podcast that I was mentioned on for my PR back squat it's a pretty big one, and I don't know, some guy with 1 underscore C 1 underscore Flores is probably super happy about all the followers he's got. But I changed mine to WL underscore CZAR. So it's short for weightlifting underscore Caesar. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me there, or the email 1000wavespodcast@gmail.com. But yeah, I would love to answer some questions. If you want my advice, you want my take on stuff, I would definitely love to talk to people directly. But I'm just gonna go. It's about time. I said bye like 4 times now. So thank you, everybody, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.